We're going to learn how to tell the time in this video tutorial. Let's start with the easy ones, and that's the o'clocks. You can see we've got 1 o'clock. This is how we would write it in kanji. That's ichi, ji. As simple as that. The number plus o'clock, ji. Ichiji. Let's try another. 3 o'clock. Sanji. Sanji. 4 o'clock. This one is slightly tricky because you should say yonji. That would be logical, but you're not allowed to say that in yonji. You must say yoji. Yoji. And you're not allowed to use the shi option, which is normally there for number 4. You cannot say shiji. So you must say yoji. Yoji. 5 o'clock is goji. Goji. 6 o'clock is rokuji. Rokuji. 7 o'clock is shichiji. Shichiji. Again, you're not allowed to use the alternative for number 7, which is nana. Nanaji is not acceptable. Shichiji. Hachiji. Hachiji. 8 o'clock. Kuji. Kuji is 9 o'clock. Again, you must not use the alternative pronunciation of 9, which is Q. Kyuji is not acceptable. Kuji. Juji is 10 o'clock. Juji. 11 o'clock is juichiji. Juichiji. And finally, 12 o'clock is juniji. Juniji. 12 o'clock. So they're very easy, aren't they? The only ones you need to watch out for are 4 o'clock, which is yoji, not yonji. 7 o'clock, which is shichiji, not nanaji. And 9 o'clock, which is kuji, not kyuji. Now let's look at some shortcuts. The only shortcut you can use in Japanese time is half, to say half past. 1:30, 2:30, and so on. Now to do that, you need the word half, which is hang, and the kanji looks like this. Hang. Now to make half past, you need to put the hang after the o'clock, which is the reverse of English. Let's try 12:30 or 12:30. 12半. 12半. 12:30. Or 12:30. If you think of it as 12:30, you will be saying it in the same order as Japanese, and that could make it easier. 12半. Let's try another. 4:30. That would be yoji. Remember, you don't say the in the yon. Yoji han. 4:30. 7:30. Shichiji han. Shichiji han. Remember not to use nana for 7. Shichiji han. 9:30. And that would be kuji han. Kuji han. Finally, let's try 11:30. 11半. 11半. Now let's consider what happens when we want to say 5 past, 10 past, quarter past, and so on. Well, first of all, there's no quarter past and there's no quarter to, so that makes it very easy. So we only have to say 5 past, 10 past, 15 past, 20 past, and so on. So what are we going to use for the word past? Well, that's easy as well, because there is none. We simply say, for example, here we've got 5 past 2, so we say 2 o'clock. 5 minutes. So all we need is the word for minutes, which is either fun or pun, depending on whether it comes after a 5 or a 10, and we're in business. Now after a 5, we pronounce this one fun, go fun. So 5 past 2 would be simply niji go fun, 2, 5 minutes. 2 o'clock, 5 minutes. Niji 5分. With a 10 past, we use the other pronunciation of fun, and that is pung. So we get 2 o'clock, 10 minutes. Niji, ju, pung. Niji, ju, pung. 10 past 2. With quarter past, we're back to a number ending in 5 because the Japanese say 2:15. They don't use quarter past. So we have to go back to the pronunciation which we used with 5 minutes, and that was fun. So 15 minutes becomes 15 fun. We add it to 2 o'clock and we get niji 15分. Niji 15分. For 20 past 2, we're going to be using the same pronunciation of fun as we did with 10 past 2, and that was pung. So we get niji 20分. Niji 20分. With 2:25, we're back to the pronunciation of minute, which is used with 5, and that is 5分. So we put the whole thing together and we get niji 25分. Niji 25分, 2:25. We don't have to worry about 2:30 because we can say 2 half past 2. Niji han. Now we have to consider what to do when we've got a certain number of minutes, here 25, before the hour. Again, in Japanese, it's very simple. What we do is we simply say the o'clock that it's before. In this case, it's 3 o'clock, isn't it? So, sanji, 3 o'clock. Then we say the number of minutes before that o'clock. In this case, it's 25. 25. We use now the pronunciation of minute, which matches 5, and that's fun. So, sanji 25分, 3 o'clock, 25 minutes, and then we just add the kanji meaning before, mae, mae. So 25 to 3 becomes sanji 25分 mae, 3 o'clock, 25 minutes before. What about 20 to 3? Well, it's going to be the same system. 3 o'clock, sanji 20分. Remember, when we're using multiples of 10, we need to change the pronunciation to pung of minute, 20分, and then mae in front of or before. Sanji 20分前, 20 to 3. Okay, now we have quarter to 3. Of course, we can't say quarter. The Japanese don't use that. So we've got to say 3 o'clock, 15 minutes before. Let's see how it goes. Sanji, 3 o'clock, 15分. Remember, with multiples of 5, we need to pronounce minute 分, 15分前. Sanji, 15分前. Quarter to 3. 10 to 3 would be, of course, sanji. Now we have to use the pronunciation of minute, which goes with tens and multiples of tens, and that would be 10分前, in front of or before. Sanji, 10分前, 10 to 3. 5 to 3 would be sanji, 3 o'clock, 5分. Remember, multiples of 5, you pronounce the minute as 分, 5分前. 5 minutes to 3. Sanji, 5分前. 3 o'clock, 5 minutes before. And that brings us to 3 o'clock. Sanji, sanji. Now the last thing that I want to introduce you to in this tutorial is AM and PM. Now in English, we would say 3 AM, 3 PM. We would put the AM or the PM after the time. In Japanese, it's the reverse. So we're going to say AM 3 o'clock to begin with, and that would be 午前. That's AM. 3時. 午前. 3時. Whereas PM would be 午後3時. 午後3時. Now these kanji, gogo and then AM, which is gozen, they're a little tricky, so you need to practice them. But that's it for time.